Yes, good, sexy, nice. Yes. Wow, the energy is a little wild tonight. And now for the recap from all the other Nathans, because even though we have other names, we are all Nathan.
We are all collectively Nathan, and say otherwise gets you a
That's right,
slap across
Nathan.
the
And
face.
since you spoke first, Nathan, could you please give the other Nathans in chat the recap?
Oh,
Thank you,
sure, Nathan. I have no problem doing that. Okay, where did we start off last year? Let me pull up my notes. Ethereal had like a wee recollection about someone who was really kind and gentle to him. Um, After kind of that recollection, he made a spicy little declaration of definitely being wanting to be fucked by that individual in particular. Um, I don't know if anyone noticed that. In all honesty, I don't have that on my notes. I thought I did, but at a point in time, we all get dispersed, spread out into cells. Uh, thrown into the darkness, if you will. And I'm put in a cell with this strange gentleman with silver hair. I've never seen him before in my life. Um, Apparently he has a particular name that is obviously Nathan. Duh. No, seriously, it's Cyrodiil. I don't know that. The player knows, the character does not. And there's kind of a exchange back and forth. At first, it's a little awkward, but it becomes a bit more familiar, a bit more reassuring. Cyrodiil kind of gives him something Ethereal hasn't had in a while, and that is kind of a comfort. Someone who is there for him in his time of need. And during this back and forth, this exchange with Cyrodiil, at a point he removes his slave bands. Now they are gone. He's also left with an adorable cat. If you don't think the adorable cat named Nathan is adorable, then fuck you. But after all that, Ethereal kind of is put in a place. Oh, he did have one exchange I liked. He does serve Lady Shar, but Cyrodiil is just better than she is overall. I'm gonna toss on over to Nathan, Nat to be specific. Nathan.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh, we can kind of recap our own room. I see. I see. That's smart. That's smart. So in Danriel's cell, um, she was put into a cell with a drow priestess who obviously did something that was not approved of, and so she's been thrown into the dungeons with us. According to her, she's there because she's dangerous and they're but her and Danriel have an interesting conversation about the fact that Danriel's like, I can help maybe break your chains, and she's like, why would you help me? I'm a drow and you're a prisoner of drow. And Danriel's like, yeah, but you're in me. Like, whoa. You're in
You're
here.
in me.
Shut
You're
up.
in me.
Oh man. Apparently my mic is having issues, guys. I don't know what's going on. I'm hearing me. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. Thanks. Cool. Anyway, stuff happened. My slave bands are also gone because I had a conversation with my other dad. And he removed her slave bands, and she was able to break the chains of the drow. And yeah, I don't know if you want to watch.
You got a cool sword.
There. Well, I don't know if I have the sword. I have an inscription on my arm, but I don't know if I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I do have cool inscriptions on my arms instead of slave bands. And yeah, that was basically my room. I'll pass it down to Caldrian's room.
Nothing really happening. Glyph came back. He's busted and bruised and decided to tell Caldron that he loved him. And, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for romance, for hugs, for kindness, for that kind of heartfelt, gooey stuff. There's better things that are definitely more of my priority right now. Anyways, we had a conversation and he somehow admitted that he had come to try to find me because I needed to be saved, and I told him that he needed to get a fucking grip, back off, that I wasn't worth coming to save. I'd already died once. Well, counting in the last couple of days, I'd say I died a lot more than once. But he doesn't have to know that, does he? Pass it off to Adra. What did you do in your room?
Yeah, what happened in your cell?
Oh. As it turns out, Ulvar is not doing too good. Uh, for more or less what was figured out is that when we fought the bloody goo thing and he was sick and vomiting everywhere, that issue didn't fix itself with time, so he has been sick this entire time. Potentially there's some infection as well. Mentioning of his clock ticking, all that. So good times, all full of hope and of what's to come. So just small chats here and there, trying to distract the sick boy man, allowing him to use the thighs as a pillow to give some joy. Yeah, so welcome to the hospice cell. We are very accommodating to the needs of the sick. He has definitely I am sick card, so he is allowed much more. But other than that, that's the main thing. Just focusing on health. Who's next?
That's actually where we ended. If you guys want the details, because there was excellent dialogue in this session, definitely go watch it on Dolly's YouTube channel.
We start tonight's session with Sylvis. Sylvis, you find yourself not returned to the cells. No. You find yourself in a different location altogether. This area of Neurexia is well, like the rest of it, gloomy, filled with tension, difficult to catch your footing. But there is something also beautiful about this area, albeit like my first session this morning, uncanny. Wrong. Like skin stretched taut over an ill-fitted muscular frame. The web spinners are exactly as you imagine them. Spindly, long, four-knuckled fingers. 2 sets of elbows on all 6 arms. Bodies that are sleek and naked as a worm. And silk. A weave. Stunning and bright. as light as a thread of moonlight, as light as a thread of moonlight. Wow, what a dumb description. As pale, there we go, as pale as a shaft of moonlight. Don't you dare say anything else, Miss Sly.
Penis.
God damn it, Sylvis. The cloth, the yarn, the thread, the weave that they make, they spool and they thread. Several of the web spinners are seated, cross-legged, with their backwards knees and a pillow on their lap. And on this pillow, there are hundreds of bobbins that are long that hang down, and they clack as they move them, creating lace by hand, pausing to pin over and over and over. There seems to be 50 of them in this room that you found yourself in, Sylvis. How you ended up here, you need only look to your right. Standing at roughly your same height, albeit maybe a little shorter, Nemoral, the weapons master of House Benray, his face drawn in tight lines as he makes a transaction with one of the web spinners, gold nuggets, raw and freshly mined, along with rough hewn rubies from the depths, in exchange for their wares. He keeps you close, handing you the silken bag filled with bobbins, lace, threads, the mercantile exchange coming to its fruition. And he mutters in Undercommon to you, "Now we head to the back, and we wait." Once inside this aforementioned back room, it feels like a squat basement, a short, narrow step that descends into what could be a coffin for the both of you. There is no room to stand, though the both of you are average and below average height for males in the area. And a tiny table is set up with still cold tea. Nemoral sits on one of the pillows provided, but doesn't touch the tea. Neither does he say anything, unless spoken to. And once you descend, your feet hitting the clapboard, the stairs are drawn up, Sylvis, and you and Nemoral are plunged into the dark. What do you do?
So meaning we're just in the dark now. That we can't see anything.
Do you have dark vision?
Do satyrs have dark vision? I have superior vision in dark.
And you can see,
Okay.
and so can he.
All right. I'm gonna look around, kind of just assess where are we? Where are we at?
Roll investigation.
All right. That's a 4.
Maybe it's just being locked in a room with this guy. You find that you are scared, nervous. Your eyes don't really focus on anything other than him. And he's probably the most dangerous thing in the room with you.
Excuse me, sir. Where are we?
We're waiting for a meeting. We're technically in what they call the coffin.
Is it a coffin made for someone? Or
When the web spinners die, they throw their dead. And their dead is then collected from this very room.
right? The web spinners. Are they hostile?
They can be, if you touch their lives.
All right. Well, it makes sense if you're meeting someone, but why am I here?
Because I need your expertise.
My expertise on what?
Magic.
Oh, Lord. What about magic?
Sometimes, after these meetings, I lose track. Like days passing through my fingers like sand.
As if time was skipping forward faster?
He nods.
Do you still retain the memories?
Shakes his head no.
All right. I mean, if I help and I figure out what happens next? Where do I go?
Gives you a steadying gaze. You tell me the truth. That they used magic. And then I will kill them.
Tell you the truth of what's happening to you?
He nods.
Well, then after you do that, what's next?
Squints. And he opens his mouth, and as he does, the teapot shifts ever so slightly between the two of you. And his gaze is drawn to it. What do you do?
Is that supposed to happen?
Never seen it before.
I'm gonna look around again.
Okay. Investigation or perception, either one.
Okay. A little better. Perception 12.
There are straw mats that some long, slender things are rolled up in and tied off in the corner. And you assume that those are the perished spinners. As you're looking around, you hear the teapot shift again, the ceramic of it making a tick-tick. And Nemoral kneels and scoots back, drawing his blade.
What am I supposed to do? Just stand here? Wait?
Come over here.
Okay, Silvis will walk close to Nemoral.
Okay. As you do, he reaches out almost too quickly, grabbing your wrist, and both of your slave bands vanish.
Oh! How did you do that?
I have Starid's key.
Do you know how much trouble we're gonna get in?
If we're caught, we will probably be castrated.
It's my prized possession. I'm really proud of what's down there. I'd rather not let that happen.
Then we will need to be very sneaky. And he shifts the blade so it's curved up over his shoulder, and he reaches for the teapot. as it shifts again. And he jumps back slightly like a cat, withdrawing the blade. What is in the teapot, Silvers?
Tea? Or, I mean, it's moving all by itself, so it's more than just tea.
He hooks the blade into the lid and flips it up and off.
I'm gonna get a little closer look.
He says, "Look, lean over. Lean over, look." Make a perception check.
Yeah, okay.
Like bend. You lean over.
Okay, not bad. 17 plus 1, 18 perception.
The room goes incredibly quiet. You and Nemoral holding your breath. Something dark, like tar, congealed liquid, rolls in the belly of the teapot.
Whoa. Did you see that?
He's like 3 feet away with his blade ready. You're the only one looking in.
It's like it's dark and it's rolling around. It's like a sentient piece of poop.
So it is magic.
It's for it to be doing that. Yeah, I do believe it's magic.
Try pouring it out in one of the cups.
Oh, Lord of mercy! Just pour it out.
He shrugs a little. You are the magic expert.
All right. I'll give it a shot. And he's gonna slowly, with his fingertips, just like try as much as possible not to be too
Either
close
dexterity saving throw, acrobatics, or sleight of hand.
to. Okay. Let's do sleight of hand.
Okay, roll it.
14.
Okay. You very gently, just your fingertips, you touch the handle. And then what do you do?
And then I'll pour it into a cup nearby. Wherever it is.
All equally slow?
Yep.
It has the viscous thickness of snot and flesh. You find yourself staring at it with unabashed curiosity. You can feel Nemoral is also staring at it with opened mouth kind of astonishment. And even in the dark, you see that the liquid is red. And as it drops from the tea container into the cup, it's got a gelatin-like bounce.
Just from observing the viscosity and also it having magical properties, can I kind of maybe try to determine what it is?
Make an Arcana check.
All right.
You have advantage.
All right. Let's do it. That is 14 plus 2, 16.
Have to lean in just a little bit closer with a 16. And as you do, it bubbles, and then it bubbles again, and then it suddenly, you can feel the steam, and just as you lean back, it shoots out at your face. What's your armor class?
11.
Okay, it latches onto your entire face. And you realize that this is very similar to what you and the rest of the party fought. That congealed, bloody liquid. Okay, it hits you. Does 10 points of acid damage. And it begins to burrow into your nose, into your eyes, your mouth, your ears. Nemoral does manage to cut it, but he has to pull back to not cut you in your panic. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, all right. Ooh, that's an 8.
Okay.
Dice jail.
The entity absorbs through your orifices before you have a chance to pull it away from your face.
Oh, shit.
And for a terrible heartbeat, you and Nemoral are looking at each other. And he says, "Where did it go?"
I don't know. It's inside of me.
You feel your lungs begin to burn.
This guy just tried to kill me earlier.
And you sneeze. And then you cough. Nemoral steps back, aiming the blade at you. "I could cut. But you could die. But it might save you."
Cut where?
You feel it in your lungs again, mostly on the right side. And then it kicks against your ribs, and you...
All right. Do it. It's gonna kill me anyways.
You are sure?
He's just gonna pull down his robes and just do that.
Okay, you pull open your robes. As you do, in a flash of light, Nemoral jettisons forward. But you only poured 1 cup of tea. And the rest of the congealed tea from the bottom of the teapot explodes outward like a net, catching Nemoral and curling him up into a little ball. Another Constitution saving throw.
All right. $12 plus 3, 15.
Okay. You manage to catch your breath, but by the time you catch your breath, this thing has been kicking in your chest, and every time it kicks, your body like jerks and tugs in that direction. And so you end up smashing against the walls of the coffin, and you end up all the way over by the dead bodies and the straw mats, surrounded by this very soft, sickly sweet smell of them. And when you straighten, Nemoral is no longer covered in anything.
No.
And both of you are just staring at each other. I think it is inside me.
What do we do?
He looks at you, and there's a terrible moment where the weapons master looks totally lost and unsure. And then the stairs unfold.
Okay.
Click, 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 click. What do you do?
We both got it inside us.
Alright, got it.
Nemoral nods slowly as the trap door above begins to ease open.
Can you remind me what it is that you needed me for?
Tell if they are using magic.
There's a lot of it inside both of us. That's for sure.
You hear these gentle but heavy footsteps.
Yeah.
Tick, tick, tick. And then coming into the small space, seeming to fill it up, a pale, elf. Long, blonde hair. Eyes. A deep and piercing blue. Good evening, Nemoral. Sylvis. As Adramir causes the air inside of the coffin to become suffocation heavy. And with a wave of his hand, the stairs return. They roll up on their own, and the trapdoor closes, and a lock slides into place from the outside. Click, click.
You know what's inside of us, don't you?
Whatever do you mean?
Yes, he knows. He knows.
Something inside you. Hope?
Squirming little blood clots.
Everyone has blood, don't they? But what exactly do you mean, Sylva? Would you like me to take a look?
I'm gonna take I look at Numeral just to see how he looks, his reaction to this
He
interaction.
looks really icked out. Like deep frown, squinty eyes.
Do I still feel that entity the same place where he was gonna stab me?
Right lung.
Right lung? Do I have a dagger on my body?
I don't think you actually. Hold on, let's roll. Roll percentile.
Okay. Percentile. Do this. And then. And this. 85.
You do, yes.
Oh,
You rolled higher than I did. Just barely, though.
okay. While I'm looking at Nemoral, I'm just going to just touch the dagger and pull the cloak down and just to see his reaction.
Kind of shakes his head no a little.
No?
You don't think he wants to. What's your passive insight?
In 11?
Okay, you assume he's really scared of Adramir, and or has a healthy respect for the Viper in the room with you.
All right. This is what Caldrian would do. He's gonna take out the dagger and just try to aim where it's at. Close his eyes while he's doing it.
Dexterity saving throw.
+1. 19.
Okay. You slam the dagger down hard and fast, and it hits something. And that something is very. It doesn't hurt as much as you thought it would. And then you open your eyes. You've pierced Adramir's palm. His sleepy gaze meets yours, deep and green like the woods. And he looks from one eye to the other, his irises kind of bouncing between yours.
Oh,
No. Why ever would you hurt yourself? And he disarms you with ease.
oh dear.
And then withdraws the dagger and he puts it in his boot. Hand
You're-
is just bleeding everywhere.
You're really fast.
Same. In different circumstances, that sleepy smile would be incredibly sexy. In this instance, it looks just downright sinister in the dark.
What do we have here?
I truly believe that there is something
Hey,
inside you.
Well, yes. Whatever was in that teacup went into my nose. It's all over inside of me. And then it happened too. It's immoral.
we should play with
He looks at Nemoral. Nemoral looks down, squares his shoulder, blows out a really quick breath, and nods. I see. Well then. Would you like me to examine you before the meeting?
When you say examine, what does that entail? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it?
He rubs his fingers together, and there's like a spark of like blue and silver magic.
Oh. Magically. Alright, as long as it's not invasive, then I'm fine.
He just continues kind of grinning in that sleepy way, and it's a little uncomfortable. But we're gonna take a quick. Well, I need to take a quick. Be right back, like 2 seconds.
Okay.
sell the good.
Bend over.
Bro, watch this.
Inspect me, please.
Double money good.
Spread them.
Yeah, it's gonna work you like a muppet.
Oh. I want to be his little puppet.
Yeah.
A health check.
It's it's gonna be a big Kermit the Frog here.
First aid exam with Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog here. We're gonna see what's up that anus.
Oh no.
This is how Sylvie sounds like now. Kermit.
Oh god.
Sylvie.
Kermit. Oh no.
I don't know.
Wait, I can use my magic now. I got no slave band.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bro.
100%.
I forgore.
Okay, sorry, I am returned.
Not going to me getting
He, yeah, you guys Kermit the Frog. I want to like pun after that, but like in character. I guess all he would say is it won't be too invasive unless you want it to be.
Please don't stick your arm in my butt.
Do I need to?
No. Is his hand still bleeding?
Yes.
Well, before you do, I'm gonna grab his hand real quick and cast Cure Wounds at first level.
Okay, as it knits together, the blood just remaining but the wound closing, he looks almost confused.
bro, I'm just gonna
This, you're hurt? I mean, you're doing something for me. You should do something for you.
You are most curious.
Very curious all the time. Love learning about everything.
Then tell me, Silver. Have you ever heard
Hmm?
I'm looking up the name right now.
Mm-hmm. If
Have you ever heard of the Lord of Nothing?
can I go through my memories? Maybe try to see if I know this Lord of Nothing.
Go ahead and roll history.
History.
Mm-hmm.
18 plus 2, 20.
The Lord of Nothing. You have heard of the Lord of Nothing, supposedly a kind of demon.
I've heard.
Not much else after that. It's a
Okay.
demon of sorts. Sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, he said, I've heard of it. A demon of some sorts. Remember reading it in a book. The pages were torn out, so couldn't really get far.
Tell me. Do you know what an Obrith is?
No. What is an Oberth?
Supposedly an eldritch race. So ancient they predate all mortal life. And some scholars believe they predate the existence of the gods themselves.
Those who've walked this realm for a long time.
Oh yes.
And what about them?
The Lord of Nothing knew their true names. And so he called to them. And one by one they answered. And he suddenly grabs your cheeks, opens your mouth. His eyes begin to glow. And he sticks his finger, the one that's bloody, like compresses your tongue. The servants of the Lord of Nothing are mirrored,
Oh.
but chief among them. And he's like moving your tongue around in the teeth and your mouth. His eyes acting as a type of flashlight. They are amorphous, formless.
Because it's hard to stick on.
Interesting, though,
And then last one to get up there.
is these things only answer when summoned or put in place for a purpose. And when he lets you go, did you like the cradle? Silver.
What was the cradle again?
The temple where you murdered Galdrin.
Oh. Do I like it? I don't know. I mean, I was there with Cauldron. Nice little classroom, I suppose.
While you're there, do the flowers bloom? And this is for you to decide as the character, as the player. This is a yes or no question for you to whatever consequence or means or ends.
Oh, did the flowers bloom?
Well, you were there.
Strangely enough, I don't really see flowers here, but in the cradle, there are a few.
He pauses and he looks at you, the hard gaze getting a little softer. And then the moral mutters in Undercommon, what does this have to do with anything? Adramir turns to look at Nemoral. We'll get to our meeting. Worry not, little weapon master. Nomura like bristles instantly, being called little,
Black.
even
Can I
though
show
he
you
is.
something? Bro, can I show you something?
So,
Bro, can I show you something?
show.
Adramir pulls it out. Just kidding.
Look at this.
Take a look. Sylvis, I don't want to speak to you in riddles, but I find I must. You see, there are many games afoot, and you are quite the favorite of House Benray. Dare I say, such a favorite that you might have thoughts that are not your own. Eyes that see through your own, that are a distant vision. Ears that hear that they have no form through you. Do you see the spiders? The small ones in the corner of your cell? Are they white? No. As fuzzy as a caterpillar? Or are they sleek? And if they are sleek, tell me, Sylvis, do they have a red spot under their belly? Can you tell me these things?
Sylvis is gonna look, and he's gonna squint and try to look closely. It's dark. I do. I do. There is.
Is there just one?
Not just one. There's a few. Few red spots.
Okay. He grabs your wrist, pressing his thumb into your palm suddenly, and casts blue and silver magic like fireworks and sparks dance around the perimeter. The bodies ignite in a fresh white flame, and it smells horrible, but the room becomes pressurized. The air clearing in a way that is like walking beneath the sky. You smell grass for a moment, and God, freshly cut grass and a rainstorm. Tilled earth, deep and fragrant. And then once the magic is cast, the scent fades. And on your palm, the black Delilah. And it fades. How about now? Do you still see the spiders? And when you look, you don't see anything.
Oh, no, I saw them earlier. What? They're not there anymore. Illusion?
They are watching, which does not surprise me. They are always watching. Sylvis, what you need to know is that there are names you need to learn, but you cannot ever say them out loud. But in learning them, you learn their wills and their whims and their ways. And in learning all of that, you can then circumvent what these true names really want and desire. Do you understand?
I understand. But why are you teaching me this or helping me in some way? Aren't I just a slave and you're like the
He-
master?
He pulls down your robe so your chest is like bare, and he touches the right lung, and you have a mark. And the mark, it seems like it's still forming like a hive that's being raised. And he says, "You have been marked by what I imagine is the Lord of Nothing. To put it frankly and simply, still original, Silvers. There is only one queen for the children of Malice. If there were two, one would have to die. A selfish, self-centered, very powerful queen does not share her people." And he like is looking into Silvis's eyes. Remember this mark. And he taps your chest and then moves your robe back into place. And remember that real names, true names, have remarkable power. Those that know control all.
Silva's at that moment is gonna clutch the robe or that chest where the mark is, and he's also gonna go into his pocket because he finds comfort in rubbing that stone that was given to him. That what's his name again?
Dragus.
Jagus. So he's just gonna go in his pocket and start just kind of like for comfort.
It's his hand that was damaged but is no longer bloody. He says, "Consider this my repayment. I cannot remove what has been done to you, but watch for the spider."
Simple nod.
Were we in different locale? And he winks. I could assist. And then he turns to Nemoral and says, "Now shall we get to business?" And they sit. And Adramir waves his hand over the tea set so that it's warm, and he pours each one a cup. You and Nemoral flinch away, but it's actual tea that pours out of it, steaming and piping hot. And he says, "Nothing to fear, simply tea." And he brings his cup to his lips and takes a sip. And says, "So, Nemoral, what have you found for me?" And Nemoral then details, I've found more jelly. And you're like, "What jelly? I found jelly." Oh my lord, Sly. Oh god. See you on that camera.
You didn't even see me walk in when you were talking about the big. I'm not going to do it a third time. I'm sorry.
Nemoral describes this shadow jelly that appears like a large pulsating pool of living darkness. He explains that these jellies don't seem to be intelligent, that they can shrink down to less than an inch in width and expand like 50 to 75 feet wide. And they eat everything organic, everything living. Apparently, the ecology of these things is they're a type of pseudopod, but they are not native to the Underdark. And then he describes something else. And as he does, it's odd. As he begins to talk, you feel like your senses are sort of fuzzing out. I need you to roll a charisma saving throw.
Natural 20.
Oh. All right, you resist. Again. Damn! He explains about these flowers and these myconids and these mushrooms that have been growing all around Norexia, along with the oozes. They seem to be at odds with any of the jellies, which is strange. Nemoral finally, and you can write this down if you want, but Nemoral finally says that on their outings, they found writings in a book. One of the corpses that was infested with mold and fungi, in a book that the undead was carrying. It says, "Fear not for your future, for now you sleep. Your flesh, a fine banquet, a gift to the lady. What births and grows shall feed from your ruins and fat of your grave." Now, in order to not have to make another charisma saving throw, I need you to roll a deception or a performance. Because Adramir has very obviously cast something to veil your consciousness.
Performance. Let's do performance.
Okay?
14 plus performance plus 5, 19.
You barely beat him.
Ooh.
Okay. Got an 18. I rolled very low. He says, "Interesting. Rot and decay in the Lord of Nothing. How interesting." And he writes a couple of these things down. Anything else of note, Nemoral? Anything that I should know about? And Nemoral explains that there is this Quaggoth, Theodore, that he returned to life because he owed a favor, and that he was going to give the Quaggoth to the same cells as the recent acquisitions from the Fallen House. And then from there, the conversation leads to drow politics. Neb, yeah?
As the conversation goes on, because I remember Nemoral wanting me to kind of determine what was going on magically wise. So while they're having that conversation, I'm just observing what kind of magic is being used on Nemoral that's making him lose memory or making it seem like things are going faster than it actually is.
Roll Arcane.
Natural 20.
Damn. Modify memory. This is what's happening.
Okay, shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So as this conversation descends into Neurexia drow politics, it's who's in charge of what house, who's making moves, who's buying slaves, who's selling slaves, what's going on military-wise with different houses. And Nemoral says that he infiltrated the house. Trying to find Neb's house name.
Nebby.
Yeah, that guy you punched.
Yeah.
House poo-poo.
I don't think that's it.
House floating logs.
I don't think that's it.
How about House Dookie?
House Narak is gone. House Nyx. House. Come on. All right. For some reason, I don't know where the fetch it is. Oh, here we go. Ik Cthulhu is the house he's from.
Icky Icky Bum
Apparently
Bum.
house.
Right. That's the one.
House.
Yum.
Yeah. House Ik Cthulhu is they're fostering fungus. Their house gardens are filled with it. They're cultivating it like a treasure. And then Scythalor. They also have some weird happenings. Usually a house will have upwards of 4 daughters, but only ever 2 sons at a time. And all 4 of the daughters will become high priestesses of Lolth, and there'll be 1 matron mother. Right? And all 4 of the high priestesses of Scythalor have not been seen in 4 or 5 months. And Adramir finds that very interesting. The matron mother of Scythalor is old, but still of birthing period, and so she is attempting to make more daughters. But clearly, according to Nemoral, they've fallen out of Lolth's grace because she has only been able to propagate sons. And so each one, because she already has 2 sons, has been sacrificed to Lolth. What's even worse is this last pregnancy, which she just finished, were twin boys. And now she is with child again, 5 months. And so why Scythalor has been sick is interesting, curious, strange. And Adramir writes all this down. And then he starts asking questions about Magara and Starid specifically. And then he speaks of the dead sister, Sister Lenora. She was the first, a year and a half ago, to be found. Her flesh hollowed out, the insides dry as a husk. He describes it to Nemoral, how Lenora was found in a puddle of her own boiling blood. And he says, tell me, those 4 sisters of Scythalor, similar? Nemoral This is... I will need to investigate further. I was unable to ascertain. I only know they died. Andrews is fascinating. Truly fascinating. And since the three of us are friends, right, Silvus? Any direct eye contact to you?
I suppose. I mean, you put your finger in my mouth, so I'm assuming we're close enough for that to happen.
He's gonna insight you. Roll a deception or a performance.
I'm gonna do performance. Natural 1.
Okay. Need you to roll a charisma saving throw.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh, 18 plus 5. 18, 19, 20, 23.
Okay, he explodes across the distance, like vanishing and then reappearing, grabbing your face. And his eyes flash as he casts the spell once again, pouring the tea in your mouth. Roll performance with advantage because you succeeded his spell once again.
Okay. 17 plus performance?
Mm-hmm.
17 plus 5, 22.
Okay. You kind of start acting a little sleepy, a little fuzzed out at the edges, and he pats your cheek. Much better. After all, the walls always have ears, don't they?
I'm gonna keep acting like I'm sleepy and not respond.
Okay. And so, almost thinking to himself as he's typing and sipping tea and having the both of you sip tea with him so he's not alone in this weird, deranged tea party, he considers aloud. Now, wouldn't it be a shame if Mother was doing something behind my back? Wouldn't it indeed? Well, gentlemen, thank you for a lovely, wonderful tea time. Until we meet again tomorrow. Silvus.
I'm on the floor.
Okay. Kind of looks at you out of the corner of his eye. Oh, perhaps I cast the spell a bit too hard. And then he unlocks the door. The stairs descend, and he steps up and exits. And we're gonna take our first pee break. You'll see. Okay, so I made a mistake. The flower was a black dahlia. DAHLIA. I said Delilah. Hey there.
Delilah,
How?
what's
How's
it
it
like in New York
going?
City?
It's pretty good. But tonight.
You look so pretty.
Yes, I do. I'm beautiful. I know. How about
Black
you?
Dahlia.
So we are gonna Black Dahlia. Yes, that's what bloomed in his hand
Okay.
as he cast his spells. Okay, now, hopefully you all wrote down what you heard, or at the very least, Silvus, so that you could regurgitate it to your party later, to the best of your ability. And we slide back to the cells where our party lies in wait for Silvus's return, for a change, for more misery, or maybe even hope. We're going to start from the bottom and work our way up.
Starting from the bottom.
Adra. You aren't sure at one point, but he does drift off into a heavy slumber, and a small trickle of drool escapes drips down your thigh. How, even in his sleep, he manages to be cheeky, you'll never quite understand. But the lines of his too thin face are deep, and they are wrought and tight. He cannot hide the dark smudges under his eyes with a false sense of bravado, and neither can he mask how thin he really is. His bones, the only shape at all to his skin. His muscles largely deflated, though his shoulders and chest remain broad. It's very clear as he's completely relaxed. Know what death looks like, Adra. And not the kind of death that Caldrian bears, that you return and you cycle through a revolving door into a network of conglomerate corporations of death. This is like one of the trees from your grove, infested with mites, gour and gore and blacken just below the tree trunk's bark, killing it from the inside out. Impressive, standing tall, large, but hollow. Standing, but dead. What do you do?
Well, I believe she honestly just like stays like this for quite a while. Just like, there's this like empty gaze like down on him, trying to think of any possible way of helping in the current situation that they're in. One of the things I wanted to check, trying to remember, the flower that Drakus gave me. The main thing that I figured out was that it was from the surface. Can I think if I can remember if it maybe has any medicinal properties? Like that flower that was given to me.
Remind me its color. If anyone remembers, did I describe its color?
I don't remember the color. It was like a little bit scrunched up.
Yeah. Like he fisted it like a little kid.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do it based on a percentile.
Mm-hmm.
So roll me a percentile.
Okie dokie. 15%?
Okay. Give me a moment, let me look. Okay. So I'm gonna say chrysanthemum, which does have medicinal uses, typically in fighting colds.
One sec.
And I will also say it's the whole, like the top of it was crushed because that's where he pulled it up from, but it's the stem and part of the root as well. Just pulled it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Probably done in quite a bit of haste.
Okay, I keep that in mind. While she muses about the flower, she remembers how he would walk around the cell trying to keep his pants up. And I don't know, kind of like it was a pathetic display, but not in like a rude way, just like feeling a little bit sad for him. And so what she does, she like starts pulling at her lacing on her like pants leggings thingies, pulling them tighter a little bit, and tearing off like the piece of like the lacing, the rope. And while he's still asleep, she tries not to wake him up and carefully tries to loop it through the belt loops on his pants, trying to pull them tighter a little bit.
Okay.
So
Sleight of hand.
yeah. So he doesn't feel so inadequate. That is well, one sec. 16.
Yeah, let me roll. See if he wakes. He does not wake. And as you're lacing, you find the subtle movements causes the pants to kind of shift and the shirt to shift, and you see that he's got tattoos down his hips and up his sides. Thin golden lines on his green flesh.
I remember mentions that when she was checking on him, mentions of infection and
The most worrisome is at his hip. There are 2 round bulbs, his lymph nodes, swollen, which is quite worrisome.
are there like I guess I cannot see it because like it's for his clothing, but if I like pass through it, does it feel like, I don't know, it's rough so it's an outer wound, or it's smooth that it's like bulging from the inside?
Bulging from the inside, but they're very, very hot to the touch. And his lymph nodes under the armpit and at the throat as well, though the throat is not as swollen as armpit and hips.
Can I try to figure, not entirely, but like the type of, I don't know, I guess it would be considered poison, or like what would cause these reactions? In fact, like, the 21.
There's 2 real big things that cause these lymph nodes to swell. One of them is not easily curable at all. The other is an intense lymphatic infection, which very likely is also affecting his brain. Think meningitis, but not quite full sepsis meningitis. The other is cancerous. The one if you had water, fresh to boil, and some herbs, which he might have in his eye. It's got a lot of things in there. You'd have to reach in and pull it out, and
You need consent to rummage through a bag of holding.
might be a little weird. You could flip it upside down, but that might end up weird. If you had the right herbs, you could treat him. If it was an infection, indeed, it would do much better with a lesser restoration or healing word, even.
Mm-hmm.
But naturally, if you had things like lamb's ear, dandelion root, and leaf and stem, if you had rosemary, lavender, quittle silver, like there's so many plants you could use to. You could mix up something to make a natural antibiotic.
Mhm.
either crushing or boiling.
I think she literally sighs really deeply because of all the possibilities and that she literally has the spells to help him, but
Now, there are you if you could find down here the right mold,
because like I was thinking like if it's like a damp cell, some kind
you
of
could find a
moss.
psyllin.
moss,
Yes, if you could find a psyllin.
Um, do I investigate or like what
You
is?
could try.
Do I like try to leave him there so I can like go over for like every fucking piece of rock? Uh, investigation.
Mhm.
medicine. One sec. Doesn't matter. Nature, investigation. I have the same one. Fuck.
Either one will work.
Okay. Okay. 19 on the dice. Da 21.
Okay. You managed over here.
What do I go?
Hold on. I'm trying to get the map to. There it is. See yourself?
Yeah.
Underneath these wide myconids, right? They're not myconids because they're not living, but they're wide frilled mushrooms. And these mushrooms are seeping a kind of sap that you might be able to use, but underneath is this green white moss that almost looks like spider webbing. Now if you could collect that, right? If you could get that, you could at least see if it's a type of psyllin.
I rattle the cell door a little bit to see.
Doesn't budge.
Are the cells closed on like just a key, or are they magically sealed in some way?
You've only ever seen them use a key. What's your passive investigation?
12.
12 is exactly what you needed to know
Ooh.
they are. The key is magical.
Hmm.
12 is also what you needed. Nope. That's not. Intelligence saving throw, Adra, in this moment of stress.
That's a 4.
Woo! Let's go!
You got no fucking. Damn, if only you had a key, you could get out
Only if you knew
somehow.
a guy with a key.
Damn.
Dig under the fire.
You start digging?
No.
You tell
The
me.
thing, fuck. Okay. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna play goddamn Cowboys, I swear to God. If I. This is the most exciting part, guys. I'm so sorry. Me figure it out. If I tear a strip of the blankets, we have a bunch of blankets, do make a lasso and try to lasso the fucking mushroom.
Oh wow,
Right.
okay.
Something on it. I don't fucking know. Because
You
like
can try.
I can't reach
Now-
it.
The hard part in doing that is the tops of these mushrooms look very delicate, right?
Yeah.
The frill of it.
Uh-huh.
If you pull too hard, you might pop that and leave the stem, and the stem is where that mold is growing, and you need the
Yeah.
mold.
Then
You
I will
can try.
Then I will try to make the loop a little bit so like the strip will be a little bit wider, so it's like a more gentle
Okay.
tug.
Okay, sleight of hand, and then to
fucking
craft
hell.
it, let's roll something. Let's roll a nature to craft it,
Okay.
and then Acrobatics or sleight of hand to throw that shit.
I have an inspiration point. I did not roll good at all.
Oh, you could roll a survival too, I think, to make it.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. That's a 23.
On survival?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, your survival nails it out of the park.
Let's go.
Slaps it hard. You no one will have any blankets. Unfortunately, the first try failed, and then you re-rolled, and well, the
Yeah.
second time's great. So I mean, someone could like tie the blankets together, but it would just be a strippy
They can
blanket.
cuddle up to me. I'm warm. I will take the burden.
But you've got it. Wide-banded lasso.
Yeehaw! Okay, so I'm still trying to look around just in case anybody is around to, I don't know, stop me from doing it.
Roll another perception.
Just in case, my passive is 16.
Okay, 16's actually very good. Holy shit.
Just in case. But it's gonna be I love 21 today. It's 21.
Looks clear.
Okay.
Sounds clear.
So is it gonna be sleight of hand to do like the
Or acrobatics.
or acrobatics? I think my acrobatics are the exact same. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna piss myself. The inspo points don't stack. Do we have just one? 'Cause-
Check on D.
yeah. Yeah. I know I have two more. I know I have two more. Okay. Okay. That's a whopping 11.
Poop it.
Poop it? What? Sorry.
Hooped. So you've got it hooped around, right? It's looped. Okay.
All I heard was pooped it. I don't know if
Yeah,
anyone
I
else
was
I
like,
heard poop it.
Okay.
I
Yeah, I heard poop it too.
I was
Like I'm
what
like,
is
poop
this?
it.
Some
I'm
kind of
like, alright.
luwak medicine or something?
I
To just eat it and
heard
poop it out and use it?
Poop it, but
there is
I
a tremor
knew-
through her. She's
I
like,
knew that you were trying to say that you said hoop it. I just going with it.
oh my god. Okay, so because like mushrooms are very brittle in general, so she's like very slow at like tugging it slowly so like it breaks off.
With that roll, the top of it, which looks a lot like that turkey tail that Sly posted, only it's purple. The top, the hat of the mushroom pops off. And you do not get the stem with the mold.
But by gliding over the stem, does some mold stick on the piece of fabric? It's
Roll
very
a percentile.
Do I do the numbers, or you just want like the tens, the 1,
The 2d10s, yeah.
2? Okay, 2. 95.
Ooh.
Okay. Quite a bit of it, actually.
Fucking
Yeah,
sweating.
Quite a bit of it. And
Oh,
so as
okay.
the head of it is just bouncing. As you quickly shuffle it, pulling it through delicately. And the bottom of the frill is coated in between the very thin membrane lines of the top of the mushroom. More of that mold.
I will be honest, I'm not too sure how to pull penicillin. At least IRL. Boil?
You have to
Like,
grow
I know
it.
slide.
Penicillin grows.
Mhm.
Okay.
The mold
In like
is
in,
the
in like
penicillin.
a petri dish. Imagine you put it in it's fungus.
literally mold.
Yeah, no, okay, so like you can take the mold, and if it's like the right mold, or I need the
It's the right
mushrooms 'cause,
strain.
okay, because like, do I need to make like a whole solution where it like boils with water, yada yada yada, like the whole thing, or is the mold enough? Just
You
because
can,
IRL.
but IRL, it's also just you're so limited that just scooping it, putting it like under his tongue to absorb, as long as it can get into his bloodstream.
Okay, so like I'm kind of like going back to sit next to the bed where he's sleeping right now, and I'm like in the process of like slowly scraping every piece of mold that I can find, like in between, like with my nails, and like scraping it.
Now, as you're doing it, there's like juice that's falling, and it's almost like making a tincture. So you'll have to find something that mold juice. That's how you're going to get the penicillin. As you scrape it between those little mold frills, or those little mushroom frills, it's very, very wet.
So I need the juice from the mold, yeah?
Yes. That's how
Oh.
Alexander Fleming did it. So yeah.
Is any of my fabric that is on me or in the room, whatever, thin enough so I can like wrap the mold solution and like, tug it, and then I'm gonna filter the
The
liquid?
blanket itself is thin enough. It's like cheesecloth.
Okay, then I'm gonna like make a small rectangle, just like wrap it around, and like I guess I'm like gonna pry his mouth open a little bit so I
Yeah,
can
roll
just,
wisdom saving throw for me.
17.
Okay. You manage to get quite a bit of the mold juice, the penicillin. You get his mouth open, pop it
And
under his tongue, and he's like,
Mhm.
no. Tries to spit it out, opens his eyes,
I'm like,
frowns at
whisper,
you.
keep it in.
If you wanted to put something wet in my mouth, all you have to do is sit down.
Just swallow. God damn it. Like I keep his
This
like
tastes
hold of his
very
jaw.
bad. Why would I?
For me, you're doing it for me. Come on, be a good boy. Suck on it.
I could suck on something else, please.
Bitch.
Anyway, so as you're saving his life, he's just talking about you sitting on his face. Please have mercy, Adra. Yeah. What is this?
Hopefully something that will help you. I hope. She's like a little bit shaky because of the whole anxiety of trying to get the fucking mold.
The whole ordeal, you think maybe that was an hour of your life you will never ever get back.
What's more year? And she like, there's like, her bangs are a little bit like wet with sweat, like they're stuck to her forehead. And once she's like done with that, she's still like sitting on the floor. She's like giving him the whole thing, and she just like rests her head on the edge of the bed and just like, this better fucking work, I hope. Otherwise, I don't really have any other options.
He's still got the tincture like underneath his tongue. He's holding it. And he's swallowing it every time it like
Seeps, and yeah.
Yes, yeah. He says, "This thing is drizzling in my mouth. I don't like it.
Do
It tastes
you
bad."
like living? Like a little bit at least?
He pats the back of your head because your forehead's on the bed, and then he kind of squeezes your hair a little bit. And there's like a moment where it's like, "What are you doing?" And he quickly lets it go. Then he comes to sit on the floor with you, with it still in his mouth. And then he pats his lap. For you.
Why? get on the bed and go back to sleep.
You look tired. Lay down right here.
You
See,
look
I'll
like
just put
you're
my head back
done.
like this. And he lays his head back. And so his mouth is open, but I mean, he's not wrong. The tincture will still do what it's supposed to do with him in this position.
I kind of
Come
like
into my arms. I will hold you.
is there still at least one blanket left where he was sleeping?
Yeah.
I like pull it off the bed and like wrap him up like a baby, so his like arms are like wrapped. You shouldn't be sitting on the floor. You still have a fever.
It's okay.
No, it's
You'll keep me warm.
I actually can't fuck. Ugh.
And he puts his arms out and squeezes the air. Mommy.
You will not get on the bed, am I correct? I mean, it's still stone. Okay. She poops next to him and like wraps the other side of the blanket just so like to give him warmth because her body temperature is warmer. Keep your hands to yourself though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Instantly, like, go on your shoulders and like your waist.
As the hand is on my shoulder, he bites it.
He sticks his fingers harder in your mouth when you do that.
Oh my fucking god.
He just says ow and then shoves him in. So you're like, oh. So you do have a gag reflex. It's good to know for later. This tastes very bad.
And then and just like pull his fingers out of her mouth and just like spits on the floor. God knows where your finger had been. I don't want to think about it.
It's a waste of your spit, but I'll leave it at that. He just kind of cuddles you a little closer and leans his head back like it's the most normal thing in the world.
Just don't choke on your own spit though. That's
If I
not the
swallow
best.
my tongue, will you resuscitate me?
I just like licks her teeth, still feeling the taste of like his fingers in her mouth. You know what? Maybe not in this situation. She's obviously joking, but
Okay,
You
if you
better-
don't, I will reincarnate as a lice so I can live in all of your hair.
you'll have a lot of neighbors.
Just laughs.
Just really go to sleep. Go back to sleep. It's gonna work better that way.
You tell him to sleep, and not even like a minute later, he's out again. And he's snoring, but he's kind of gargling this time because the tincture's still in there. He's like,
Well, since he's next to me, I'm trying to like lift his like chin here and there, so like he's like choking or not like snoring too bad.
at one point, he is like, and
By what time do I understand that I can like pull out the thingy out of his mouth?
probably another hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He just passes out. He's so tired. He's gone. Just out.
I think at some point, because of like the whole like stress and anxiety, Adra also kind of like relaxes more or less, like at least realizing that hopefully something can help. And she just kind of like, since they're like, I guess cuddled up, she kind of like leans her head on his shoulder and maybe tries to drift away a little bit as well, because she has been up for hours trying to figure out what could be done.
So as you begin to doze, go ahead and hit that long rest button.
Long rest. Yes. I'm done.
I'm going to do a quick meanwhile. up to Caldrian's cell. Caldrian.
Yes.
Glyph, in his confession and then your ultimate confrontation that led into the both of you more or less going slightly separate ways. He's curled up in the corner and he's drifted off to sleep. But what are you doing?
Most likely if he was no longer responding, he'd probably be looking around the cell, looking at anything on the walls, any means of escape, tapping on the rocks, listening. And then you'd probably be talking to himself and you just hear him like, so this was your grand plan. Throw yourself into a pit. Prove to me what exactly? Bravery? Somehow that you're strong? Honestly? All I can see is somebody who didn't think this through. And he's just talking to himself about the situation with Glyph. He feels now responsible, like he's been given this responsibility. And it's not something that he chose. He's like, I didn't need you here. I didn't want you here. And now you're going to sit here rotting in the dark. You think that impresses me? Congratulations. You succeeded, proving that you're just as much of an idiot as I always expected you to be. You should have just left me. You shouldn't have come back for me. Thought you were better than this, thought you were better than me, and now thanks to this little act of heroics, you've thrown yourself into my lap, and now you're stuck here with no way out, and I have to take care of you. Strong and stupid, sure, but still stupid, you idiot. I don't need anyone else sacrificing themselves for me, really? I've had enough of that crap. It's not your responsibility, and now you've given it to me, you've handed it to me, and I didn't want it. I didn't want it. I had one goal, and now what am I supposed to do? Then he just looks at him. And he'll take off his coat, his little jacket, and he'll put it on top of Glyph.
He immediately curls into the coat, his nose tunneling into the collar. Even bruised and swollen and broken, he is so lovely. Pale skin, cornflower-colored hair. Despite it being dirty, it still looks soft.
He'd probably brush it behind his... Does he have 2 sets of ears? Or does it just have the one?
Glyph just has a little cow ears.
He'll probably just brush the hair aside from his neck. And then guide his hand across his cheek very gently.
Some of the stress bleeds from his face, and it softens.
Cal just whispers, I really didn't want this responsibility.
Make a perception check.
$19?
2 things. How long do you sit there beside Glyph?
He's probably squatting down in the good old, I like to say the Asian squat. Feet flat, just sitting there, watching him. And it's not like it's a creepy watching, it's more of like he's just thinking. And he's probably staring at his face. And it's some time. He's kind of like processing in his mind how he's going to get the rest of the randoms he's met, take his revenge, and still manage to take care of Glyph in the same time. He's trying to think about it. So he'll probably be there for like, I'd say 10, 15, 20 minutes just looking at him.
At the very end of the 20 minutes. After your eyes rove the contours of his delicate features. Gosh, he reminds you so much of Sylvis. But Sylvis is definitely a satyr. Glyph reminds you of a fawn. Not necessarily youth, though he is young, but that same delicate, fragile beauty. In a lot of ways, too soft for this world, and in others, exactly what this world needs more of. And at the very end of it, you glance up, your head suddenly just feeling heavy. So you sort of lean it back on your spine on this exhale. Eyes closed, and then they open, and in the far corner, a white, tiny spider. And you watch as it crawls from one corner of the cell to the other before disappearing into a crack. Anything else before I describe the next thing?
He'd probably stand up and go to the crack in the stone.
Pretty high up.
High enough to reach? Can he still reach it?
Probably with the athletics, you might be able to heave yourself up, or with a acrobatics.
Okay. Yeah. Acrobatics. We could try that.
Go ahead and roll.
Excellent. So 18 plus 4, 22.
Okay.
Is
You
it
do
big enough to look
manage.
through?
It's very, very small.
Okay.
But you do manage to get up there, and there's many little white spiders. More than you were realizing. All clustered together.
Can he pick one up?
You can't actually reach your fingers, but you could leave your finger at the mouth of the tiny crevice.
Yeah, on the black talon. He just holds it there, waiting.
Okay. Roll a handle animal.
That's a nat 20 on the die, plus 3. 23.
A couple of them, very, very tiny little spiders that are all white with red dots on the belly. A couple of them do crawl on your claw.
Have I seen these spiders before?
You tell me.
Crawling? Have they been crawling around in other cells? Have I seen them in my own cell?
You tell me.
What am I supposed to tell you? What do you want me to tell you?
This is a character choice.
Oh. Darn. Okay, hold on. Let me flip a coin. Okay, he's probably seen them before.
Everywhere. Lurking in the corners.
He's gonna bring the
They
ones
seem
that are on his finger really, really close to to him and he's going to focus on them like he's just sitting there staring at it. And then he's going to
They
whip out his
seem-
tongue and lick it.
Okay, they seem fairly harmless, and when you lick them, the power of the tongue just kind of overwhelms them, and they die, and your tongue goes numb. Their venom quite potent for something so little.
When they die, are they still on his finger, just dead?
Mm-hmm. Or on your tongue.
Okay. Well,
And then if you
wherever
have,
they
like,
are,
a
he's going to pick
rough-
it up and he's going to squish it and rub it between his fingers.
Okay. Red smear.
And then he's going to taste it again.
Tongue is even more numb now. Constitution saving throw.
16?
Okay, you don't manage. I mean, you do manage. You manage not to, like, slip further into the toxins.
And he's going to put his hand out for more. As if
Okay.
to collect them and use them.
Roll a handle animal.
17?
You collect a couple more. You don't really have anywhere to store them.
What about putting them in his water skin with the water?
Yeah, you could. You can drop a bunch in there. You wonder if it's going to make the water quite toxic. If you had a bunch. And so you continue to do that for what, an hour? Okay. And at the end of the hour, the finger which you carry twitches.
Oh, he'll pick it up, hold it out. Say, hello, little friend.
It doesn't move again for what feels like the longest time. And it's just the subtlest twitch.
In a weird way, he's just gonna pet the top of the finger and then knock on it. Knock, knock, knock.
It doesn't move again. And you can hit that long rest button.
He just says, no, not very nice, little one. It's not very nice to ignore someone when they're trying to say hello. And he'll just put it back away.
Okay. That's the only things that seem to happen really of note. And I think that's where we're going to slide up to our next cell. Danriel. Your cell companion seems to lose energy rapidly after the initial conversation. And she seems to be sleeping.
Insect. She really sleeping this.
You're an insider?
It's like a 6. Don't worry. She's definitely
Or she's definitely awake.
sleeping.
She's not sleeping. She's awake, silly lady. I see her. Awake, her eyes, they're open, even though they're closed and moving below her lids. But yeah, what are you doing?
I think for the first bit, like tracing finger scrawlings, arm. Egyptian dawn scrawlings. And now that she doesn't have a hand, she hasn't really had a chance to experiment. Going to, and she tries to call upon any of paladin.
Need you to make a charisma saving throw.
It's because you get one hit, Mark. Doesn't mean you need all of them.
That's
Yeah,
a 2. 2.
You're gonna open them though?
You're in a cage. And you are not alone. Hot breath distends. The hairs on the back of your neck. It smells like death. It makes your stomach roll and feel nauseous. Skin brushes against your bare flesh. Your back. It's unclothed. And the feeling of it is wet. Cold. Something thick, like saliva, drops down the top of your shoulder and slowly creeps down the collarbone. And a panic starts to flutter in your stomach.
This cage, like the one before, right? Kind of punched open and straight.
Yes. It's exactly like that. And there is a wretched hunger and hatred.
I think in beginning, whatever is there, despite the fact that she doesn't really feel like she can move, I think try to. I mean, she would try to move, trying to like elbow whatever's behind her, whatever is behind her, trying to get it off way, trying to free herself.
You can't move.
Like she can't move because there's not space, or she just like her body doesn't.
Not enough space. You are claustrophobic in this tiny, bent cage.
Great. mean, I know that I would go into like, if that were the situation. So it's probably, I mean, it's probably what she does. If she feels like she can't move, she'd probably would full panic. For sure.
As she begins to panic, there is a vision, a flashback, if you will, that overtakes all of her senses. And Danriel is she's stepping into this woman's space, and this woman is delicate with copper colored skin. Beautiful skin. You remember that it tasted like roasted cinnamon. And she always smelled like a spiced cider. And you remember stepping up against her, your strong arms coming to cup her face, pulling her up and bending forward into a kiss. And when you pull away, your mouth is filled with her blood. And your hands, the fingers, some of them are broken, the knuckles so swollen, and you're holding her head. And her eyes are bleeding, Danriel. And it's just her head. And the rage is all you know. It's all you can feel. It's all you're aware of. Suddenly your arm is burning in the here and now, and on a gasping breath you pull forward, and the markings where Egyptian dawn was given to you, they are melting your flesh, and through your mind screaming in your father's tone. Not your gentle father that is as radiant as the sun, but your father that is like moonlight, wicked silver, as sharp as a knife's edge. You are not worthy to wield a blade of a paladin. You think that you are a hero. You think that you are doing them a favor, but you are not. You are tarrying in a land that you are unwelcome in, that you do not belong in. And you will die, daughter mine. And no one will be there for you to crawl back to. Walk out that door. And don't ever come back. And then rapidly the feeling of nausea overtakes you, and you remember these rough hands, these masculine hands. You remember the feeling of blood loss laying in a field of bodies, and these hands, they were taking from you everything. Going through your pockets, your coin, your weapons, your shield, your locket, your ring. She gave you a ring. You had a ring on your finger, and they took it. They stripped you of everything. And another memory as you run to a corner, Danriel, and you are throwing up, and Egyptian dawn is burning and burning, the markings melting. A voice, maybe your own, maybe not. You are unworthy, wretched swine. You think you can hold your oath? There is no balance within you. No oath that you are worthy to keep. You liar. You betrayer. And as Danriel is throwing up, she remembers Adramir's laugh She remembers cutting a huge chunk of his hair, barely missing his throat, and him letting out this wicked laugh. You can try to stop me, time and time again, Danriel of the Cold Dawn. But I will always come back. For death is just a cycle, a beginning, not an end. You taste your own blood as the vision concedes to your here and now. And you have thrown up so hard that your throat is raw, and you are missing a tooth. From the heaves, you spit it onto the floor, and the tooth is not like any you have seen. It is blackened and ends in a hook, though shaped largely like a molar. Your jaw, Danriel, it aches and aches. And when you look down at your arm, all of the markings for your father's blade are gone. And there is a hiss. You are unworthy.
I think she.
Kneeling in the dirty corner of your cell is when you realize that you are no longer what you have always been. And you don't even know if everything that you heard was true. Surely your father has never spoken to you in such a harsh cadence, but perhaps the two of you have even come to blows. And her head, God, her skin was still so perfect. But she was nothing. What do you do?
She flexes the arm. Markings once. And is there scarring? Where?
Yes. It looks as if it's been melted by a great heat. Your flesh itself is marred.
Intensely shaking. Wanting to fight the feeling, but the proof body right there is so hard for her to have hope past what she had. Kind of think to
I want watchers and banders.
a dark sadness. Like she. I mean, if she lost that, then she truly must have lost everything with the vision of the woman. And then she rubs her finger where her ring once was. And I think she just remains in that corner. Big curls up to her chest, holds them close, tries to. But she is completely different, a very different visage from what was.
As Danriel hugs her knees to her chest, usually there is a warm presence in the center of her chest, right against her spine. That is her oath. That has always been her oath. That's where it's manifested. It is empty now. As if the water skin of her oath was pricked and has emptied. As if it never was. At least in this lifetime.
Yeah, she just stays in that corner. And just gets lost in
Does
very
she pocket
negative
the
path
tooth
of
or
thought.
lift it up?
I think she stares at it for a long time from where she's sitting. And then after probably 30, 45 minutes, finally reaches out, up, close to look at it.
When you do, it's like when Pippin reaches for the Palantir. And you stop touching it. And you wonder how many more are in your mouth.
I think she feels
You can
around.
feel the gap.
Yeah, she feels around.
You can feel the gap in the back. But all your teeth feel normal.
Anything feel unusual about the gap? Like maybe in where that tooth fell out?
This feels like a normal
Gotcha.
bloody hole. Like a tooth was pulled.
I don't think she has the capability to really do anything else. Because she's very shaken.
Okay, so you leave the tooth there.
Mhm.
Go ahead and hit that long rest button as eventually you do fall asleep, chin tucked in to your knees. But your sleep is not restful. It is filled with nightmares and pain and whispers that you're a liar and an oathbreaker.
I mean, bullshit.
One voice tells you you never were an oath keeper and that you always were nothing but destination, but no journey. Okay. That being said, we're going to meanwhile over to Ethereal. Make sure you hit that long rest, Ethereal, because what happens for you, you wake up from after your rest. And your dreams are sickly sweet, Ethereal. You dream of the lion. And those cold nights made warm between two collapsing and intertwining bodies. But then you wake up and you're back in your cell. And you're not sure what has awoken you. And your tabaxi ears, they flick and twitch. And Vil, go ahead and roll a perception.
Yeah. Yeah, that works. Let me look at this real quick. That is 5 plus 2, 7.
Sitting in the middle of your cell. First off, do you have dark vision?
I do. Yes, I do.
Okay, then that is enough to see. Sitting in the middle of your cell is an upright goat. Its neck is long and thin, like a child's. Its hooves are crossed in its lap like hands. But it is sitting upright. And in your voice, it says, "You're not going to abandon me, are you?" Now it's turned away from you, looking at the opposite wall. And you know that there was a cat sleeping on your chest, but the cat is nowhere to be seen.
He's gonna kind of just look around for a minute, see if the cat's anywhere, but then probably just not seeing the cat at all. He's just gonna fixate on the goat. Do you not believe I could abandon you, us?
Us.
Yes, us.
I like us. And the head tilts suddenly, ever so slightly. Together. Us. We. And it starts to rub its hooves together, like it's moving its hands.
He's
Can
going
we-
to go on.
Can we paint? I miss painting.
Is it time to paint again? Has it been that long? Has it been such a gap in time that it's time to do it all over again?
Yes. I miss painting.
Fine. I suppose we paint since it's been a while.
Okay, let me see if this works for you. I got you a little token. It might be huge.
Oh boy. I'm a huge fan of huge ass tokens. Oh my god, it's immense.
So big.
There you go.
He's
This
a
is-
fancy guy.
He's suave as fuck.
So polite.
Oh, wait.
And he starts to laugh, ethereal. Pain is good. Pain is life. Life is pain. And he suddenly rocks forward slightly. Just for a moment. Red is my favorite color. Do you think you could paint with red for me?
I can paint your favorite color. It's not a problem.
And he is suddenly behind you. And where he was sitting is empty, ethereal. And he says, "Yes, red, my favorite color. Do you like taste of freedom? Do you wish to clothe yourself in freedom and choice?
Wish to leave this place, whether it's freedom or not, of my own choosing or not. I want out. I want out now.
The cell red. And that's when you hear the cat. And the goat is gone. And it's just you, Ethereal. And the cat.
He's going to move up to the cat and pick it up.
Roll a charisma saving throw.
Okay, I'm gonna try this other dice because that other one wasn't so good. That is. Look at the character sheet here. 12? Yeah, 12.
Okay. With a 12, you fail. However, there is something calming about the gray, fluffy cat. And the conversation with the goat feels very distant, very far off. And the cat moves up your chest and butts underneath your chin. And you feel suddenly, Ethereal, like you are standing at the edge of a very steep fall, looking down into the abyss. The choice is yours.
With like the cat, like kind of like held to his chest, is just like headbutting him. He's just going to walk off the face of said cliff.
Holding the cat, you
Mhm.
you go into the abyss. Okay. What's your armor class?
It is. It's 14.
You have two choices for the red paint. And for those of you who know, you know, I will not describe. And so as you begin to collect, or attempt to collect, your red paint, there is a frigid temperature drop in the room with you. And when you next wake up, you are flat on your back, and the cat is in the corner, licking his paws, watching you with very intelligent golden eyes. You are in a pool of your own water? You sniff. You are soaked. But you understand not what has just transpired. But the voice of that silver-haired, with a couple streaks of black elf. But I am better. Just bounce around your skull. And there's so much noise. There's so much sound in your brain that when you do eventually sit up, you realize you have freshly healed wounds all over. Not a lot of it makes sense.
I'm covered in water?
Yeah. And you have freshly healed wounds everywhere. And the cat is just sitting on the desk, cleaning himself. And you feel like you've been on an incredible bender. I mean, your mind is just lost at what just happened. You remember stepping off the cliff into the abyss.
It's gonna move towards like the cell door. Where's my roll 20? Which I guess is just like right here. Is that the cell door?
Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, that's the cell door in a Danriel cell. There's one, like, kind of up here,
I guess you would
but
move.
it's more like it was a cell door that they've covered up.
What is it covered with?
Stone. And when you move closer, you can roll a perception. So you can see pretty far into the dark.
That is 16 overall.
On a perception?
Mhm.
You can see very, very faintly skeletons. Chained. Covered in spider webs. Sconces of violet drow flame ascend a stone staircase here. It's hard to see, but you think just on the very edges of your vision, there's a pit.
Interesting. How, like, is this like just regular stone? Like, is it reinforced? Anything like that?
Just stone.
I'm gonna find.
Seems like worked stone.
Oh, Danriel, what are you doing here?
So that stream can
It's so
see.
sweet
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
see.
That's I figured.
Like,
Um,
oh.
he's gonna move to go pick up the cat over by the desk.
Okay.
And after picking him up, he's gonna say to the cat, "Would you like to leave and paint some colors, my friend?"
When you say, would you like to leave, the cat meows. When you say paint colors, the cat hisses and then bats you in the face with a clawless paw. Just a full-on slap.
Not a fan of that one, I take it. All right. All right. He's gonna put the cat on his shoulder. And if I walk over yonder, I can see Danriel, right? Just sitting there huddled together.
You know what? I'm going to say yeah for roleplay purposes. She looks like shit.
Yeah.
She looks
Yeah,
haunted in a way that you
100%.
know everything about. Yeah.
100%.
Danriel. Danriel.
I think she wakes with a start. What?
I want to get out. Let's try to escape. We have to think of something.
Right this second.
Yes, right this. No, 15 minutes from now. Of course, right this second.
Have a way out right now. Do you?
What's the cell door made of? Is it just like pure steel, iron?
This door.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Right, bits of ours.
Oh, the other thing, Ethereal, is you notice that your slave bands are back in place.
He sighs at that.
When you pick the cat up, they lessen, but when you say "let's paint," they get darker again.
He just looks at the cat. You refuse to give me any grace whatsoever, don't you?
Do I see the cat now?
Yes.
Did you get a cat?
Some
In your cell.
I don't. Maybe it was a fever dream, but the cat makes it feel real when there's some man talking about choice and empathy and being better than a certain deity. It's whatever. It's besides the
Cat just
point.
meows really deep. Mo.
Apparently, the cat agrees. Anyway, that's besides the point. The point is, is that we need to find a way out of here. DM, did I forgot what was it made out of again? I apologize if you said it. I just
Looks like blackened steel to you.
Pretty
Would it be
strong, but I don't
possible?
think I'm strong enough to bend it. But I can try.
I mean, what? No, we don't have to bend it. It's ridiculous. What if we can try to blunt force it? Maybe damage the hinges. We could do that. I understand we still need a key to get out. Wait, I have a question. Like, I just thought about this. If I use one of my claws, could I try to, like, lockpick it?
You could. You could try. You don't know what'll happen if you do, but you could always try.
Well, while
Oh,
he's
yippee.
gonna do that, are these boxes that are depicted? Are they actually in the cell?
No.
Damn.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Right. Okay, what's your plan if you get this door open? Because this door just opens into my cell, and then we're just stuck together with my new roommate. Go down to the next one and try and...
We rinse, wash, and we repeat. Of course. With your new compatriot, maybe we can come up with a better plan. Maybe they're smarter than the both of us put together. Which I'm not saying we're idiots, mind you. I'm just saying 3 heads are better than 2.
Right. Okay. Okay. You're working on that. I'll go... She said she wanted... She suggested... Okay. They were fodder, but Anyway, I'll go wait.
I know she's there on the map, but when you go look for Terror, she's not
What?
in
She's
your cell.
not here?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It makes her mad, actually. She's like, what the fuck? Looks around, like, dare! Maybe I'm hallucinating as well. Seems to be the theme tonight.
Ethereal, you hear the whisper that Danriel would make the most beautiful red tape. And would you get on that sleight of hand?
Oh, I haven't
The
rolled it
lock
yet.
pick?
I haven't rolled it yet.
Gets
Give it a
into
try,
my cell,
son.
loses control, tries to kill me. That'd be cool. Just boy.
So that is sleight of hand. I think for once I'm going to use one of these inspirations. So let's see if we get a better roll here. All right, that's better. 16.
You get it open.
Oh shit! Awesome.
And you're surprised you aren't electrified, but it opens up into Danriel's cell.
Think in or like just like toppled on top of everything else that has happened in previous hours. Like not like seeing that her roommate who she thought was maybe nice, when she sees that she's gone, she's like actually pretty angry about it. I think like punches the wall a couple of times. Like she's like irrationally angry, more so than you've probably ever seen her out of combat since you.
Right, Danriel, every time you hit the wall, you smell the breath, you feel the cage. And every time you rage, the cage gets wider. It opens up. And there's a feeling that this is exactly what you need to do. Now, whether that is true or not remains to be seen. But I need Adra and Caldrian to make perceptions, please. Because Danriel is not quiet in her rage.
Loud. I'm in like another hour and a half.
What was it? A perception roll, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. $19.
And Adra?
We have 23.
Okay, the both of you awaken to the sound of Danriel's fists. And at first, you think on a terrible stint that someone is being beaten to death. And you jerk upright. At that same moment, Adra, your cell opens up, and a small figure is shoved inside. As you hear Sylvis grunt in pain. Somewhere in the distance, there's a scream.
Is it like similar to when we heard a scream back then? Like the whole engine
Oh,
thingy?
like when
Correct.
the door opened on its own.
Correct.
Well, like as I was standing up to go to the other cell door, I like, oh shit. You know, I go up to Sylvis. Is he in a bad shape? Like, hey.
He has just spent 9 hours with Magara as a thank you for doing his due service.
She kind of like walks up to him. She doesn't touch him immediately. She's like, are you okay?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm okay. A lot has happened. Do you remember that big blob of blood that we were fighting?
Yes.
Well, some of it is inside of me.
And she's like, "Do you have a fever?"
I don't know. I feel disgusted,
Uh,
but I'm fine. A little tired.
uh, can I touch you? Can I help you?
Where are you touching me?
Just like in like what's the word? Nowhere indecent.
Alright,
All of
just
your
note-
cell doors. This one opens up, and this one opens up.
How did you do that?
I didn't do shit. It's
And
just
there's
like,
another scream, and this grinding feeling.
do you remember last time there was a scream as well?
I remember.
This is not good. Not good at all. She kind of like still helps him like holding his elbows or something, trying to
He
help
doesn't
him
seem
calm
to have a fever yet,
down.
but his lymph nodes at his neck are slightly swollen, just like Ulvar's.
Duh. Brr.
Need
One
more
sec.
more penicillin.
More pet like while the door is open, like I grab more of the blanket fabrics, like the scraps are everywhere. 1 second. She runs out to the mushrooms, and I guess
This
like
door is closed. This one's closed.
Ah!
Just the
But
connecting
the cells,
doors.
the connecting ones, all your
Ah.
connecting cells are open for you.
Where are you going?
nowhere.
The door's closed. Where are you?
Ah,
Are my slave bands on me?
Let me roll. No, you. Oh yes, they are, because you're with Magara. They are on you.
Okay.
Yeah. There's so many.
we need to try and get you some of that mold. Silly enough, because I think you have like similar-ish symptoms to Ulvar. Like a
And
kind of
Ulvar's like grunting on the bed.
Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
look at Ovar and see.
on the floor. He's on the floor next to
Oh
the
yeah,
bed.
you can. He spits it out. You can have this one. There you go. It's like super slobbery.
No, thank you, but I appreciate it.
I think it's
What's
did its job.
I'm feeling all right, but I mean, I feel like there's more important things at hand, isn't there?
You're probably going to start slowly dying like me.
Oh, I don't want to die. That's not all right.
Oh, Glyph pokes his head in here next to Caldrian, like underneath Caldrian's arm because he's short. I might be able to help. Oh, he doesn't sound like that. Hold on, he's got a man's voice. He does. He's a little man.
Yeah, no, I
Mhm.
know. I just
He's got the
okay.
deeper tone, but he's still soft. Yeah.
I might be able to help.
With the stuff inside of us.
He nods.
Are you gonna put your fingers in my mouth?
No.
Oh,
And
Right.
meanwhile, that's happening. Ethereal, you notice that this door here is opened up, and you can see Caldrian and Glyph. Whereas when the door was closed, it wasn't really easy to make out shapes. But now the sounds and the shapes are coming in 4K. And Danriel is probably right over here, incredibly pissed off.
is not even did not notice the door, is mad. I think is
Now-
actually full raged.
Okay. Now, Ethereal, the thing about you is your nose is incredibly sensitive, just like Sylvis's. And you pick up the smell of powdered stone. Shh. For just a brief moment. And you're deep underground, and there's very little wind this far under the earth. And it's a wafting breeze. the what has spurned it through your cell, because it comes through the cell like this at you, and then it sweeps down into this cell, and then into this cell. And Sylvis, you'll also smell it as it wafts into your cell, but it takes a moment to get there. So Ethereal, what do you do first, and then I'll descend down. You're muted.
So prior to him like following the smell, as Danriel is raging, he's gonna put a hand on her shoulder.
You
Don't
do
know
find
where-
yourself like fixated on the blood on her knuckles and the blood she's left on the wall, and it satisfies the urge. You hear the goat say, "So pretty, my favorite color." Go ahead.
Is it worth blooding the walls with your own hands and your uncontrollable rage? Is it worth it? Is this therapeutic for you?
Cage leave, yes. She's just trembling. Her vision's actually kind of probably. You can tell she's not seeing super clear when she looks back at you.
He's going to take his hand that's on her shoulder and then cup it around like her chin. Always so exquisite with you, rage, anger, bloodthirsty want. It fascinates me immensely, so much. If you need let out of a cage, maybe I can help. Mind you, my methods are more excessive, rather than subtle. But we may need more red in that regard, if I help.
And at that point is when the scent hits Sylvis's nostrils, and they crunch up in front of you, Adra. So you're all having conversations. And so Caldrian is coming in at that same moment that, like, Caldrian, you feel the wind, and then you watch the change in Sylvis's face. So, Sylvis, do you say anything? And then go ahead and free role play. Meanwhile, back to Ethereal and Danriel and back and forth until you all converge.
What is it that I smell? What was it again?
Ash?
Powdered stone and, like, burnt remains.
Oh.
Do you smell that?
Me?
All of you in the room. Really?
Do I?
You do a sniffer.
Just give it a big whiff. It's not pleasant.
She does a small one. But a big one.
Okay, as you sort of let the wolf out, Adra, you don't have to roll, you smell it.
No, it's a familiar scent.
Burning corpses.
Glyph sniffs the air, and then he just like turns to your ribs and sniffs you, Caldrian, and plants a little kiss there before you can stop him.
When you say burnt remains, Tal's tongue flicks out to taste the air.
Like a lizard. Hey.
Like the lizard you are. Get a little taste. Little tasty. Not that great. Pretty bad.
I've had better.
Something's happening. The doors are opening magically. There's the smell of burnt corpses. Who's next? Who's gonna come into here? Who's the next guest?
Well, that depends.
It's a-
We've had plenty of guests here, haven't we? And he looks around the room and he says, and I'm not talking about the ones that are here now, standing in front of us.
No, there are ones that are gonna assault me with their fingers again.
Cal
Pats his shoulder
at you.
a little bit.
What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, I was with the weapon master, and we were in a dark place, and what was his name again?
I would say
Blonde hair.
perhaps this room is not the best for speaking of such things.
Someone can hear us already. I feel like there's so much magic going around. They already know what we're talking about. Doesn't matter how quiet we are.
I'm not talking about being quiet, I'm talking about shutting up completely.
What if they can read my mind?
Then I don't think you're as good at magic as you say you are.
Maybe you're right. Who the hell opened the doors? Wasn't one of us.
Magic.
But it's only seems to be between ourselves.
Is it everyone else? And then he looks over to see if further down what's going on over there.
What's your passive perception?
11.
If you squint really hard. Oh wait, you have superior dark vision. Yeah, you can see them.
You're your baby.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, what is happening? That's a little weird that they're kind of.
Well, obviously, we've got to do something. The gates are open. Well, not the one that's the most important, but
Oh,
we're all together.
You mean the one to let us out into the hallway?
Wait, really?
What, do you want to leave?
I do. I want to get the fuck out of here.
And then what?
I don't know. Something.
So what are you going to give me if I tell you I have a way out?
Why do I have to give you something? Why can't it just be something you can do out of the niceness of your heart?
Because you haven't earned that yet.
Fair
Cal,
enough.
I gave you that key for free.
Yes,
Says
but
Glyph
that's
under your
because we're
arm.
friends. We're not friends with everyone else here.
Yes,
Not
we
yet.
are.
They
We're
haven't
not
earned
friends.
it.
I stabbed you with my horns.
That's true. But not everyone else here has deserved my kindness yet. And that was a kindness. You stabbing me was quite the gift, if I do say so.
Can I just give you, like, berries or something? Well, what do we do? What are we supposed to do? And he's going to look at Ovar. We're just going to stay here?
What if I just say, when I need something, I'll ask for it, and hopefully, and most definitely, you will give it to me.
Behind him, Glyph is like,
No. Maybe. And he's like, you can see his eyes darting like this.
Watching Glyph
when
just
you look at
Cal-
Glyph, he doesn't do anything. He's just like, but it's pretty
Cal
obvious. he
is
was-
going to, like, he's got Glyph on his arm, and he's just going to have him face him and pull him forward so his head's facing him. And he says,
Oh.
do not interfere.
You're being shady.
Shady. I'm simply
drug-
saying that I am owed, and I will be given what is owed.
Well, it feels a little drug dealery, and you're not a drug dealer.
And what would you know about that?
You're not.
It's been many years, Glyph. You don't know me
Oh.
anymore.
He pokes her chest. Yes, I do.
You're annoying me.
Someone ought to
What? Be annoying?
be your cricket conscience. Yes.
Okay, Jiminy. Take a breath and just let me deal with this, all right?
Be nice to these people.
I am being nice. Stop trying to boss me around. To take care of you, and I have to try to take care of everyone else, I could easily take you out of here and carry you on my back and just take you and lock everyone else away.
Don't. Please.
Then just agree that when there is something that I need in the future, you will say, yes, Caldrian, I can do that for you.
Maybe
Olvar
not.
under his breath just says, as long as no one has to die, or it's not nasty weird, okay.
What if it was me who had to die, Ulvar? I'm sure you'd have a great laugh with that, wouldn't you?
No, I don't like killing my friends.
He's already killed me once. Don't worry about it.
More than me. And he kind of grunts. And he's covered in sweat.
Are you... Did you have too much to drink, Ulvar?
I think my fever is broken.
What, the meat sweats?
He shrugs. He looks at it. He points at Adra. Should we
Ah.
get Danriel and Mr. Frisky?
Oh, you hear Caldrian over his shoulder. Here, kitty kitty. Meow.
You hear a
Missed you
genuine
all.
meow?
I didn't think that would work.
And this fluffy fucking gray cat comes in, and we would meanwhile right here to Danriel and Ethereal, but Danriel stepped away.
Cal just picks up the cat. My, another cute friend. And he just holds it in his arms. He's petting the cat with his long black talons, stroking the head of the cat.
Yeah, he loves that. He's all over you. Big, yes. So
Caldrian,
good.
you just see him start scratching underneath the, like, very gently, very strange, but very gently, just scratching underneath the cat's chin, being like, good kitty, good kitty.
Oh yeah, he loves
Now,
that.
where is your master?
Speaking of, meanwhile, Danriel and Ethereal. No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. What's
Um,
happening? I'm mad. Angry.
yeah, you're mad, and I'm like holding like your chin in my hand as you're like looking like sideways at me, like there's just one eye. Remember my offer about the cage? And he's gonna lick the side of your face. To remember the offer by. And he's gonna walk past, let you back to your rage, your anger,
Just leaves her to it. I love it.
and he's going to move up to Caldrian. Oh, I see
Oh.
you found my new friend, Smokey.
Really? How inventive of you to call a gray cat Smokey.
The cat is just like.
Would you prefer Vapor or Misty?
What about Shadow?
Sylvis, as you're looking at the cat is literally looking hella offended that they're talking about his name. And the
like-
cat's fucking just looking back and forth like, bitches, my name is Mr. Smokey.
The cat looks annoyed.
Sir? What?
I
I'm
don't know,
sorry.
just looks annoyed.
What would you like us to call you?
He meows. Does anyone speak cat?
Cat.
Can I?
Or-
Oh wait, I have my slave band on. I can't do comprehend language.
You
No.
could try. You could try.
Can I? Okay, I can. I will cast comprehend language first level. Try.
Okay. As you go to cast it, if again it's like that kind of small constipated feeling, and then all of a sudden you're swallowing some of the cat's hair and coughing, and it goes off. His face.
Cat hair.
As you're pulling the gray hairs out, everyone else notices that his slave bands are gone. I don't remember this guy's name.
hell.
I know it was Mr. something.
Mr. Sir.
Mr.
cat's
Sir.
name.
Sir.
That's what he said. He says in a very, very deep voice, "Now my name is Mr. Sir."
I'm tired of digging holes, Grandpa.
You're too damn bad. Keep on digging.
Literally, Mr. Sir is the guy from the camp. You guys remember that? Pray
He tells
tell,
you-
goat,
Goat.
talking to Sylvis.
Oh,
'Cause
I
he's
was like, what?
looking.
You can't. I was like, you can't see. I
Pray
get it
tell,
now.
Goat,
Oh,
how did you remove your slave bands?
My slave bands are gone.
They are.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sorry. You choked on the cat hair, and then when you cast the spell, you started sneezing and choking, and then all of a sudden it went through.
oh. So I still have them on. No.
No, they're gone. They're
Oh.
faded.
Well, at first, I don't remember how I got there, but I was with the weapons master. Needed me to figure something arcane. Something you mentioned going into a meeting and losing memory, or it's as if time has passed faster than he realized.
I'm sorry to say and to interrupt, and I do apologize. Very rude of me, but really, we shouldn't be speaking about it here. We've had some guests that I found earlier, and they were lurking in the corners. Is anyone, perhaps, could anyone find a way to keep this quiet?
do you have a piece of paper and a pen? Something I can write on? And I'll
Olvar just
put-
reaches in up towards his face, and his hand kind of drops. Aldra, come reach into my face.
She walks over. Like, is she still sitting?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So
fever's
she,
broken, but he's super tired.
Do I also notice that Sylvis doesn't have the bands anymore?
Mm-hmm.
How small is Sylvis again?
Like 5'5".
5'5"?
Oh, he's so big.
5'5", 5'4", you're on there.
Oh, I thought you were like 5'1", like
No.
little miniature, little goat.
Yeah,
goat man.
that's Glyph. That's
Oh,
Glyph.
he's so cute.
All y'all
But
are
he
like
doesn't-
6 foot, so.
He doesn't have antlers like freaking Sylvis. Like Sylvis's antlers make him like 5'11", probably.
True.
But yeah.
Does anyone have a pen and a paper? I can explain everything.
Keep.
to that.
Yes. Turn your wrist left. Okay, now a little deeper. Oh, right there. That's about as deep
my
as
hand
you
is
can
already in
probably-
there.
Oh, I can feel your fingers inside me.
Oh my god, can you just shut up sometimes? Goddamn. She's like
Oh.
actually turns away a little bit. Just like trying not to look.
He's just grunting, and so once he has everyone looking at him, Adra, you finally grab the notebook and the ink and pen.
You know, pull it out.
As you pull it out, there's also very sheer underwear. Olvar reaches up and then puts that back in his eye.
Can I borrow that?
Hands
Not
that. to
that.
Douglas.
Not that.
Are you saying you would like the sheer undergarments, goat?
No, I don't even wear undergarments, if I'm being quite honest. But I'm talking about the journal and the pen.
Silently gives it to you. Because she's just so many questions on which she doesn't want to know answers to.
All
you
right,
go.
thank you. I need a blank page. Genitalia drawn of boobs. Genitalia, blank
Please.
page.
Look, it's just a sketch path, okay? Thank
No
you.
judgment. Really good, really detailed, especially the veins.
I'm gonna cast first level illusory script, so I can write on a piece of parchment, imbue it with illusion, and I will designate everybody in the room to be able to read it. Anybody
Okay.
who is not from that room, it will just say, "I missed you guys and I love you." But the text will say, will pretty much explain where he had been and how his slave mans were removed, like how he spent the time with the weapons master, the meeting, the cup, the thing that's inside Sylvis, all of that, and who was in there as well, along with the weapons master.
Do you guys remember the conversation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So then I will just allow all of you, whatever notes you took from that conversation. Sylvis, this is all based on your roll.
Okay.
Gonna have you roll your we're just gonna do a persuasion.
Okay.
So as you're retelling, it's just
Persuasion.
all
Persuasion.
persuasion. Yeah.
It'll be whether it's Val's kinds of notes or if it's Striker Sly's level of notes, if you want to put it that way.
That's exactly that is
Sorry,
Yeah.
Val. Don't tell him I said that.
Natural 20 for 25.
Hell yeah.
Striker Sly level of note taking. Let's go.
Big pimpin'.
Yeah, it is everything that any of you you're actually allowed to pool your resources together over this conversation, your theories, etc., etc. And as this conversation's happening, Caldron, what's your passive perception?
13.
You feel like you're missing something. Something's off. You're having this discussion, but it's this illusionary script. But there's something else. You can't quite put your thumb on it. And it's easily dismissed. I'm like, huh.
So yeah, that's what I went through. Then was brought here.
You say you saw spiders.
Large spiders. Uncanny.
Large.
They were the what were they called again? Web weavers? Web spinners?
I'm talking
Yeah,
about
the
the
web
little
spider.
spiders that what's his face told you about that you still remember.
Oh,
Yeah, the little spiders. You don't know what they're called.
then yes.
Interesting.
Is there
And
potentially sorry.
Go ahead.
It's just because they're potentially like from the description a nature roll that I can make? Trying to
You
understand if I
certainly
know.
can.
That will be an 11.
Yeah, hold on. You with an 11, you would have some of the names, like the really common ones. So, like, obviously, the most common ones are like crab spiders or like lice mites. You know, the kind of like pests. Probably. With an 11, yeah, okay, you wouldn't know this one. You would just know about like the white crab spider and then the mites. Really, I think with an 11.
So a fairly common type, in my opinion. Okay, then I guess she doesn't really say anything because that doesn't seem of anything of note to her. So
And Sylvis, these spiders were hiding in the corners.
They were?
You know this saying, the walls have eyes?
I've heard of the saying, yes.
Come here. I'd like to show you something.
Oh, all right.
Hal is gonna take him to the corner of the other cell he was in, and he'll be like, I'm gonna lift you up, and I want you to look into this corner here. Tell me what you see.
He puts his arm like this. All right.
Cal's gonna try to lift him. How heavy is Sylvis?
He's pretty light. Maybe like 120 pounds.
Is that okay?
Mhm.
Okay, do I need to roll anything to pick him up?
Yeah, to not drop him, athletics.
Puppy.
Oh, fuck. It's
Don't drop
Is it
me.
13?
So here's the thing: as you are bringing Sylvis, I need Adra to make a nature check.
nature is not naturing, and the 9.
Okay, yeah, with a 9, you're like, well, there are widows. It could be, but widows are always black, unless it's a type of recluse, and in which case that could be pretty dangerous because usually anything that is like brown spider recluse family, it's pretty poisonous. But then there's also the sea spiders. I'm not gonna try to arachnophobe anybody, but the sea spiders are the ones that have like little feet. So instead of ending in spindly legs, they got little toe beans.
I mean, I could try and think about the spiders. I mean, do I hear conversation? Because I think I want to hear the fact that there's many of those spiders. Because like right now, I'm thinking like what spiders leave in such colonies. Because like it's a different thing for spiders. They either loners or apparently a whole fucking colony of them. But I don't know that yet. So she's still like, fucking spiders. Just a bunch of spider whisperers. They're not magical, they just talk to the spiders. That's my theory for now.
Okay. I would say that everyone can kind of overhear Sylvis and Caldrian talking. And I want to know what Danriel's doing. Like, how long do you stay there punching? When do you join your party?
I think after a minute of kind of not getting the satisfaction of work, I do think she pushed all the way into a full rage for that day, and she has clawed at her arms to burn skin. And I think that kind of brings her into the forefront. And then she goes to join the party. And just before she goes through the door, she looks back over at where the tooth left.
Mm-hmm.
And if she can, she'll lock it.
Again, Going to pick it up, it feels like the Palantir, and you wince, but you manage to push through, pick it up, put it in your pocket.
She'll just walk you. This door here. What are you doing with your
All right, and Ethera, what are you doing?
I think at this point he's just kind of observing the cell door, debating whether he should test his luck to try to pick this one as well.
Oh, you mean the cell door to the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
Like one here and now or later.
Totally up to him. But I will say you hear everything that's happening in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what'd you get on that lift roll?
On the athletics?
Yeah.
What did I say?
13?
13.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus,
that is enough
wait, do
to
I have
lift him.
athletics? Oh yeah, 13. Plus
Yeah,
1, so 14.
Ah,
That is it's easy. 14 with how much he weighs. And so
Look
you see a
inside.
lot of little spiders. With your superior vision. White, slick bodies, no fur, pointed little feet, red dots on their bellies.
So they're the same ones that I saw in the coffin.
Yes.
I will say they don't taste particularly good. However, they did have quite the numbing effect to my tongue.
What's hot?
I decided to collect them.
Need a closer look. He's just gonna put his finger up. Maybe
I
like
warn you,
have one travel on his finger.
they might bite. They're quite venomous.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but they're really little.
Can I sense anything magical about them?
Without your slave bands on, absolutely. You don't even have to roll.
These little things got magic in them.
As I said, the walls have ears and eyes.
Are you suggesting that someone's spying on us using these little things?
I don't know. Am I?
Why does everyone love speaking in riddles?
It's not a riddle, it's a simple question. You asked me, do I think? And I said, I don't know. Do you think?
I don't know. I think sometimes.
no, it's
Well, look who decided to join us. What a bright bulb of sunshine you are.
Daniel,
You
you alright?
spider to. Sorry.
just kind of doesn't act. She's not fine, 100%. Her knuckles are all bloodied. Her arms are now bloodied. They've been clawed at. She's
Cal looks at Sylvis and he's like, you shouldn't ask people if they are okay or if they're fine. Most of the time, they're going to lie through their teeth.
But I just like asking anyways. She's a friend. I'd do the same for you. Put me down real quick, please. My little feet are dangling like he's kicking a little bit.
He's like,
You
He
put me
drops
down.
you into the princess pose and then he puts you on your feet and he's like, there.
Thanks.
Thanks for taking a
Little
look.
Glyph is kind of
He's having a jelly moment.
just a little bit.
So you see, up in the corner, they tend to be gathering. I think they are in more than just one place, and this is just one of their meeting rooms where they come, exchange information, and pass it along, like a intelligent line of communication. How futuristic.
That's not a bad system.
Crazy dash.
Well, just think about it. In every room, they have eyes and ears, they listen, they gather, they meet, they share, and they spread. And at any time, if they feel threatened, maybe not threatened, but I can imagine if the damage of one is as potent as I think about the damage of millions.
Oh Lord! I put my finger on the wall and let the spider travel back to its group.
No. Put that in here. And Caldron
Oh.
just opens the bottle of water.
There's sort of an acidic smell from it. Now, as that is happening, Adra, I need you to roll either a perception or a nature.
$11.
11.
On which one?
Perception.
Okay. So an 11 on a perception. You don't know the scientific name or the name your people even called it, but the common name for this kind of spider is a redback. It is very deadly and very dangerous. What you do know about these spiders is they are very gentle. They don't bite often, but when they do bite, it's usually to death.
Do I know the amount of poison? It's like, is it a one spider bites you, or is it like they I don't know, fucking attack as a defense mechanism? And is it like one bite is enough, or is just like bites several times?
So usually, redbacks, even though they are solitary, they're usually where you find one, you find a ton, because they've just recently hatched. And within a week, or less than a week, within like 24 hours of hatching, it would probably take 3 or 4 bites to kill someone Sylvis's weight. Olvar's weight when he was healthy would probably take like 10. But one bite can send you into anaphylaxis and can make you incredibly sick.
I did overhear Caldron mentioning that they weren't really poisonous, or at least like didn't do too much to him.
So Cal would have said that, like, he had tasted its blood.
Yeah.
And then licked the spider itself. It was fine. Just a little numbing of the tongue, but then again, he didn't, like, after he squished it.
Yeah.
And then put it in the water. Yeah, he wouldn't have said anything like.
Yeah.
Just the taste of
Just
it's
like,
fine, but
just you tasted the spider. Okay. Those are. She's like biting her bottom lip a little bit, thinking. I believe they are called redbacks. I'd like to walk a little bit closer. Do I see them still being small, young spiders?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're
I
little.
think they
They're
have
just
been
little guys.
hatched recently, and they're actually quite deadly.
oh yes, quite venomous. But like I said, they don't taste bad.
But I'm still curious how they would use them to spy on us, or is it just a bunch of shutdown buttons for everybody, so they just bite us in our sleep or something?
Well, I can imagine they're both. Communication line, and if they hear something they don't like, it's not hard to imagine.
That would explain why Spirit appeared in the cell.
They hear and they see. And then he looks at the top corner of the hole and he says, "Don't you, little ones?"
About Starrett appearing, I still think that it also could be to do something with Dragus's markings. They can use them to track him. So, and he was not where he was supposed to be. So that's one of the other options.
Well, just say if we have anything secret to say. This is not the place. Do it.
Andra looks towards Danriel, and I assume she sees her like bloody hands and knuckles. So I assume Andra kind of like stepped into the cell.
Come on in with the rest.
Oh, okay. I just saw it. Oh no.
Would you like to see the evening sky? I don't know, is it?
Do I see the bloodied hands?
Jesse.
Jesse.
On
Me.
Danriel?
Danriel.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, sorry, you can start the conversation, but Adra leaves for the scraps of the blankets.
At least the scraps of blanket are getting you.
They're useful. Now we have bandages. And she kind of like silently walks up to Danriel. It's like, you can keep your conversation, but please allow me to bandage you up.
While you're healing him, could you mind, or healing her, would you mind healing my friend here as well?
Is he
Just
sick?
push his glyph with one finger.
His face is swollen and sore and bruised. And he says, "Oh, it's okay. It'll heal."
Shut up and get healed. And he
I don't
pushes
have-
you through the door.
Mean.
I don't have
Just
magic.
band.
Yeah, I don't have magic to help.
That's
the
fine.
She
sword.
Just
still
like,
has
he
slave
just-
bands.
He doesn't care. He's like, please
Is
just
there
like
a
fix his
loose
face.
stone? Is there a loose stone somewhere here? Just
Yes.
like a rock. Put it next to the swollen cheek. The cold will help. That's all I can do.
Okay.
Like a
He'll hold it
compressor.
Yeah.
on his face. And Ethereal, where are you at?
I'm ready to pick this lock, ready to give it a shot, ready to see what happens.
With your claws?
Yes, with my claws.
Roll a sleight of hand.
What does an 18 get me?
As you stick your claw into the lock, I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw.
It's the Zach.
Oh, look at this. 15.
You leap back as a spark ripples across the front, and you take half. So you take 5 points of lightning damage.
Sad.
And you hear somewhere beyond a scream and the grinding. And then all at once, the doors begin to close one at a time. Starting with this top cell, and then again at this bottom cell. So you guys show me where you're all
We're running. We're running.
I was about to say, can we,
Yeah, I think we're running. Everybody running to the
Glyph, I would have pushed him already through. The first
Like I
thing.
grabbed
Boom, boom, boom,
Danriel's
boom.
hands and like book it.
Let's. Seems like our freedom has a time limit. Does anyone want to mark
Beneath
that
you,
on
the
wall?
ground kind of rolls slightly.
Balance.
has
You
that
all barely manage to keep your balance. And then, like you're in a movie that we all may have seen or may not, you hear a voice that says, "Would you like to play a game?" And that's where we're going to end tonight.
fuck that shit. Damn.
Hell yeah.